Hey guys, it's Kara. So I put on makeup for this video, to do this video, and I went really overboard on the eyeliner, and the wings don't match, but honestly, I'm on a webcam, so hopefully you can't really see that. Either way, just let my wings live their separate career paths, and they're just gonna, live and love, live and let love. So anyway, so this weekend I went out with some friends of a friend, and one of the girls that I was hanging out with was talking about the Enneagram Test. And I had briefly heard about it because I think some YouTubers talked about it. I think Mika Kitty and Dodie, or she doesn't go by Mika Kitty anymore, does she? Tessa. Wow, I used to watch her like long time ago. Anyway, so they talked about it briefly. I wasn't really into it then, but I took the test and I remember getting a 4. But this girl got me like more interested in it because she like explained like the reason why she loved the test so much, because she doesn't really like Myers-Briggs and she's not into like astrology and stuff, but she's really into this because it's super accurate, and I can attest that it's like actually horrifyingly accurate, like to the point where I kind of hate it because I feel like someone knows me too well, and then it just means like that everyone in the literal world can be boiled down to 9 different types of people. I mean, there's so many different variations and there's different levels, and I think this accounts for so much more of variation in humanity than like the Myers-Briggs type. Because like I never really truly identified with INFJ or an INFP, which are the types that I always got with Myers-Briggs. And like when I would read those explanations, I would identify with maybe like 50%, 40%. But this, like for my type, I identified with literally 100% of the explanation. Honestly, they give you good advice, and it just like, it's kind of nice to like have your personality put out in words. It's weird because I feel like kind of like a sim that someone chose my personality and like we're all like in these paths and like there's nothing interesting or unique, which is such a 4 thing to say, which I'm a 4. So like everything I think about it, I'm like, that's such a 4 way to think about something. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Anyway, so the Enneagram. There's 9 different types, and you can take a test. The actual, like the true test is on the Enneagram Institute website, but that costs money, so you can just like take one of those random tests online. Just type in Enneagram test, or I'll link one in the description too, and you can find out your type and then read all about it. And honestly, it's just like kind of cleansing. I love reading stuff about myself because I'm self-absorbed, which is another trait of the 4. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's just kind of nice to like be able to see all of your personality traits kind of laid out there and see like what's useful, what's not, like how you can grow as a person, like what you should be striving for, and like what pitfalls you can fall into because of how your brain works. It's so weird. Like they account for everything, and just like, I don't know, man, it's creepy but great. And also another great thing that they do on this website is they do compatibility, so you can get your partner to take the test, find out what number they are, and then you can like match up the 2. And there's a theory that if the 2 numbers add up to 10 and then you're like a really good match, obviously gonna be like no match is perfect, and like every couple has like things they can work on, and like, but it's still like weird to like see your, not trajectory, like I guess like all the possible ways you can fight and how you can like bash heads, or how you guys are really like, you work well for each other and how you are compatible or complement each other. The girl who was talking to me about this and told me about this at the bar was saying that she and her boyfriend, who was also there, they couldn't, they can't, like they made a rule that they can't bring it up in fights anymore because all they would say is like, you're being such a 3, you're being such a 5, or whatever. So I mean, that's kind of funny, but also it's like, I feel like it's like always a good thing to like know more about your partner. And it was kind of embarrassing because like, I mean not embarrassing, but like kind of weird because like when they were reading like my description, I felt like my soul was being bared, and I was just like, please let me have my secrets, don't know everything about me, this is too much. And I feel like knowing about yourself and like self-exploration and self-knowledge is never a bad thing. So I thought that I would like read off the 9 type, like a description of the 9 types, just briefly. So maybe you guys could, instead of taking the test, maybe just like get a vague sense of like where you are, and then maybe take a test just to like solidify that. But the girl also said that the tests are kind of like, they're just like a starting point. So you should look at like the types and like their bad attributes, and like if you relate to those, then more than likely you're that type. And there's also a really cool part on the website where it says like misidentification, and so you can look through that and see if you are accidentally misidentifying something, and then they'll tell you like why you're misidentifying, and then like they'll point you in the right direction. It's just really cool. They think of everything. They give you personal growth recommendations, and they're so specific and so, I don't know, so good. I'm really, honestly, I think I'm gonna print these out and write them down, because for me, these are exactly what I need to hear right now. I find it really helpful and useful, and I think that like this is definitely gonna be something I look back to when I'm kind of feeling like nebulous and like don't know where I'm going, don't know how I'm feeling. So let me briefly read you the descriptions for the 9 types, and so maybe you can identify and find your type. Number 1. Ones are conscientious and ethical with a strong sense of right and wrong. They are teachers, crusaders, and advocates for change, always striving to improve things, but afraid of making a mistake. Well-organized, orderly, and fastidious, they try to maintain high standards but can slip into being critical and perfectionistic. They typically have problems with resentment and impatience. At their best, they are wise, discerning, realistic, and noble, can be morally heroic. Number 2. 2s are empathetic, sincere, and warm-hearted. They are friendly, generous, and self-sacrificing, but also can be sentimental, flattering, and people-pleasing. They are well-meaning and driven to be close to others, but can slip into doing things for others in order to be needed. They typically have problems with possessiveness and with acknowledging their own needs. At their best, they're unselfish and altruistic. They have unconditional love for others. Number 3. 3s are self-assured, attractive, and charming. Ambitious, competent, and energetic, they can also be status-conscious and highly driven for advancement. They are diplomatic and poised, but can also be overly concerned with their image and what others think of them. They typically have problems with workaholism and competitiveness. At their best, they're self-accepting, authentic, everything they seem to be, role models who inspire others. I feel like Harry is this type. I'm not like a pro at this, and I can't like attach like the numbers to people, but from what this seems like, I feel like this is kind of Harry. 4 is me. 4s are self-aware, sensitive, and reserved. They are emotionally honest, creative, and personal, but can also be moody and self-conscious. Withholding themselves from others due to feeling vulnerable and defective, they can also feel disdainful and exempt from ordinary ways of living. They typically have problems with melancholy, self-indulgence, and self-pity. At their best, they're inspired and highly creative. They are able to renew themselves and transform their experiences. 5s are alert, insightful, and curious. They are able to concentrate and focus on developing complex ideas and skills. Independent, innovative, and inventive, they can also become preoccupied with their thoughts and imaginary constructs. They become detached yet high-strung and intense. They typically have problems with eccentricity, nihilism, and isolation. At their best, they're visionary pioneers, often ahead of their time, and able to see the world in an entirely new way. 6. The committed, security-oriented type. 6s are reliable, hardworking, responsible, and trustworthy. Excellent troubleshooters, they foresee problems and foster cooperation, but can also become defensive, evasive, and anxious, running on stress while complaining about it. They can be cautious and indecisive, but also reactive, defiant, and rebellious. They typically have problems with self-doubt and suspicion. At their best, they are internally stable and self-reliant, courageously championing themselves and others. 7. 7s are extroverted, optimistic, versatile, and spontaneous. Playful, high-spirited, and practical, they can also misapply their many talents, becoming overextended, scattered, and undisciplined. They constantly seek new and exciting experiences, but can become distracted and exhausted by staying on the go. They typically have problems with impatience and impulsiveness. At their best, they can focus their talents on worthwhile goals, becoming appreciative, joyous, and satisfied. 8. 8s are self-confident, strong, and assertive. Protective, resourceful, straight-talking, and decisive, but can also be egocentric and domineering. 8s feel like they must control their environment, especially people, sometimes becoming confrontational and intimidating. 8s typically have problems with their tempers and allowing themselves to be vulnerable. At their best, self-mastering, they use their strength to improve others' lives, becoming heroic, magnanimous, and inspiring. And 9, the last type, are accepting, trusting, and stable. They are usually creative, optimistic, and supportive, but can also be too willing to go along with others to keep the peace. They want everything to go smoothly and be without conflict, but they can also tend to be complacent, simplifying problems and minimizing anything upsetting. They typically have problems with inertia and stubbornness. At their best, indomitable and all-embracing, they are able to bring people together and heal conflicts. So those are the 9 types. If you identified with one of them, I would go look in that, go look more into that. That's probably you, because that's a good sum up of them. And another interesting thing is that they give you a little circle and there's 2 little arrows, and the girl who was telling me about it told me that there's this theory that your growth arrow and your growth number, I'll put up a little picture, but the growth number is what you were like as a child, and when you're at your best, that's what you are. So my growth arrow points to number 1. So that means I was an advocate for change, wanted to improve things, and sort of, they say, morally heroic, and I felt that I was. When I was a child, I was always, taking up making projects to help the environment. I started a group for Kids Against Animal Torture. I made a newspaper talking about the ozone layer and how we can help it. That's all things that I did when I was younger, and I want to get back to that point. So the growth arrow points to where you would be at your best, and they give you examples of how you can attain that again. And I kind of want to I want more studies to be done on this, and I want to see if your parents' types have anything to do with your type, because obviously I have personality traits in both my parents, but it's so weird because I don't think either of my parents are a 4, so I want to have them take the test and see where they are, and then I want to see I don't know, I just want to see everyone's type. I really want to hear what Caitlin's type is. I think that would be super interesting. I can't really tell from the ones that from what I've read. I had some of my friends take it. It's super interesting. So honestly, just have everyone take it, and then you can just read into their souls, basically. Let me know if you take it and what your number is, because I really want to know everyone's number and just get a better understanding of you as a person, and just, it'll be a fun time. You can read into mine. Let's just have a little soul gazing, am I right? So that's it. See you next time. Bye!